or your mobile device, just head on over to supertalktv.com. You'll see I got a friend in the studio with me today, and we're always looking for Mississippians who are on the big and small screen, and we've got another one to root for. Her name is Beth Hennington, and she is going to be on the Christmas Cookie Challenge on the Food Network coming up. I think it's this Sunday, right, Beth?
It's the 20th.
The 20th, so 2 Sundays away, and that sounds like a lot of fun and delicious and exciting, so welcome.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I feel like looking at when I saw everybody going crazy and sharing your post that you had made, you could let the cat out of the bag,
yes,
which I am learning from all our Mississippians who make it to these cool either singing competitions or food competitions.
Right.
You have to sit on it for a really long time.
Girl, I'm not a good secret keeper, but this one has been bad to keep. I mean, it's been hard.
So how long have you had the secret, Beth, that you're going to be on the Food Network's Christmas Cookie Challenge? Let me get it right.
We filmed this in March. No! 8 months ago.
All through the summer.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just back up to how this all got started, because it's, by trade, you have the Vanillian.
Yes.
Got it right.
Good job.
Which you do the decorative cookies.
Yes.
And baking specialty. So, and we'll get into how that all started, but how did the Food Network part come in? Where did you see in the ethersphere that you should sign up for something so fun?
Girl, there is another whole world that most people don't know about, and it's called the cookie world.
Really?
It is a big thing. Cookiers are now they're like pine trees. They're everywhere. There's a cookier. A cookier. You know what I mean?
Cookier. Hashtag cookier.
Yes.
We learned a new word today.
That's right. Hashtag cookier. So there's a cookie con.
No.
There's a cookie con. Yes. So actually in the cookie world, which is a big world, believe it or not, getting to go to the Christmas Cookie Challenge is kind of like the Super Bowl.
Really?
For the cookier, yeah. So it's something that actually about 3 years ago, my husband and I sent in, we did the cheesiest video where I dressed him up like Santa. He pretended to roll out of the fireplace, and this puff of smoke appeared, and Santa had come to tell me he had sent in my application to the Christmas Cookie Challenge for me, because I was his head elf, obviously, making the cookies.
Y'all really thought that through.
We did, girl, and it was so cheesy. It was so bad.
And this was a couple of years ago, you said?
Yeah, almost 3. Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, the only person in the world that has seen it besides my husband and I was my daughter, and she owns a cookie cutter business in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Of course she does.
Yes.
Keeping it in the family.
Yeah, she sells cookie cutters. She 3D prints them and has about 100 3D printers that run 24/7.
Really?
I promise. Anyway, so
that's really. I will pin that.
Yes,
keep going.
Pin that. So I showed it to her, and I wouldn't even send it to her because I didn't want her sharing it or keeping it. I'll let her watch it via FaceTime, and she was like, "Well, one of two things are going to happen. You're either they're going to love it, or you're going to be banned from the show, and you'll never get invited." So I had pretty much kind of written it off. Okay, we're banned. We're not getting it. One night about 7:00, a casting guy called, and he was like, "I don't know how this jewel slipped through the cracks, but I'm gonna need to talk to you." And the interview process began. It was a rigorous, almost a year. I mean, it was intense.
Really?
Yes.
Like, what are they interviewing you about? Like, are you really making the cookies? Is it your authentic recipe? Like, I mean,
yes.
Is it?
Oh, we're making stuff. Oh, yes, girl. We're interviewing. We're making. It was a lot. It was a lot. And there's, I can't tell the whole thing about what happened just because I'm still under contract with Food Network. So. It was intense. I will say that. It was very intense.
So when you finally figured out, or finally were told, okay, Beth, you are going to be able to represent Mississippi, the Vanillian, whatever. Did you always know it was the Christmas Cookie Challenge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did know it was the Christmas Cookie Challenge, and I was actually at CookieCon in the bathroom.
Where is CookieCon?
So CookieCon is different every year. So this past year it was in Reno, and so we were out in Reno at CookieCon. The next CookieCon, there will be 2 next year, one in May and one in September. I'm sorry. Ohio and Orlando. I will be teaching at both CookieCons.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was in the bathroom when I got the call for the Christmas Cookie Challenge, and I'm at CookieCon. I'm with all my cookie people, and I can't tell anybody. But I screamed in the stall, and they probably thought, people were like, "What is going on?"
She had too many cookies.
Yes.
The icing has gotten to her. I'm fine.
I'm good.
Okay, so then the actual, I guess, show begins. Now, is this something I saw too where you had thanked some friends for giving you their kitchen? Was all this virtual this go round, or did you actually get to go somewhere, Beth, and do your cookie thing for the Food Network?
Oh, yes. We went Yes, we went somewhere to the Discovery Lot and shot and filmed. Yes.
Oh, that's fun. Okay,
Yeah.
so explain what you can about the show for us.
So what I can tell you is that there are, it's season 6. So in season 6, there are 8 episodes in a season, and 5 bakers compete on an episode.
Oh, now I can see why. If it's only 5, then, I guess over 8, that's 40. I was going to say, never mind. That's one from every state. I was thinking, now I know why it's rigorous if they're only picking 5 people. But.
Well, 40. And over 10,000 applicants this season.
That's still a lot.
Yeah. So there were 5 of us that compete. There are 2 rounds. 2 people get cut the first round. 3 people move on to the second round. And at the end of the second round, you either win $10,000 and the title of Christmas Cookie Champion, or you go home empty-handed. But I mean, it was still so much fun.
The experience would have to be, worth it at all. Who are the judges? Because I know they have their Food Network favorites kind of come out to do the judging and all.
The judges were Ree Drummond, the Pioneer Woman, and Eddie Jackson, Chef Eddie.
What show does he do?
Eddie Jackson has a ton of shows. He's an ex-NFL football player. And he's got barbecue. I mean, he's got about 5 or 6 of them that he does now. But the Christmas Cookie Challenge is Ree, Drummond, and Eddie, yes.
So you at least do one day, obviously, your first day. You can't tell you the rest. And you can't tell us now you can't tell us nothing, can you? Can you tell us how many cookies you get to make or have to make? You don't, maybe not the theme, or do you get to pick the theme?
No, we don't get to pick the theme. It is just timed, and they tell us what we have to make, and then we have a certain amount of time to make it, and it's nuts.
And it's nuts.
It was the best or worst thing I've ever done.
Do you have everything? So I've always wondered when you go into those kitchens. I've watched Chef Nick Wallace as well as some others from here. I think of Leslie, who does the barbecue as well. You go into these sets, and you would think that it's like a stocked kitchen, just like you would imagine. Do you have time to go through and find the measuring cups and the bowls and all of that, or is it just you're standing on one side, they start the clock, and then you're just like a blind chef heading in and just hoping it's where you think it should be?
Well, I mean, you have your stations and everything is stocked, and they give you do get a tour of the kitchen, but it's not. I mean, you've got to run around and find stuff.
Even the vanilla.
The vanilla.
Do you make your own cookie recipe, or is there like a standard? Do they have the cookies out and then it's basically on the decorating?
No, you make your own recipes.
So on the beautiful photos that I've seen on your social media and other places, it's the Food Network cookies and all. Was that for just promotion, or does that have anything to do with the actual show?
No, that was to promote and to announce.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm trying to get, I'm like, I
know.
Get
You're working. I know. You're working. You're doing
I'm
well.
working, trying to figure it. I mean, I don't want you to give it away, but I think we get excited. I know, especially this time of year, the Food Network does a good job of having all the holiday sort of cookie, not the cookie challenges, obviously, but then also the baking and things, and they're good and sort of family friendly to watch. Had you watched seasons in the past?
Oh, every one of them, yes.
Had you already, when you went to the studio, have you already spent the $10,000 if you won it? Not like literally. I mean, like in your head. You know how we daydream if we win the lottery, we're going to do X, Y, and Z?
Oh, absolutely. They tell you, they ask you, what would you do if you won?
Yeah.
Well, I just said my credit card company would be thrilled.
As so many more bars did. Okay, so it's coming up. It kicks off on November the 20th, which is going to be next Sunday at 7 p.m. Will it also be streaming in other places once an episode airs, or is it you have to catch it live at 7 o'clock on the Food Network?
No, there's several places. Discovery Plus, the Food Network, because season 1 started on the 6th. So every Sunday from here and through Christmas will be a new episode.
So you're on...
I'm episode 3.
Got it. So you already know that. Okay. Sometimes they don't even know that. I know, like with The Voice and others, they just say, hey, you'll be in there at some point. All right. Well, Beth, this isn't your first go-around with cookie making. I want to dive into what got you there and how you got your skills coming up next. TalkTV.com. Now, don't you turn that channel. He's not playing Christmas music for me. He's actually playing it for a good cause. That's because we've got Beth Hennington in the house. She is the owner of the Vanillian.
Yes.
And she will be coming up on November the 20th. That's a Sunday at 7 p.m. on the Food Network for her Christmas or for the Christmas Cookie Challenge. It's your challenge,
That's
girlfriend.
right.
But we will be tuning in to watch your episode for sure and to cheer you on. Okay, to get on something like that, you're not a first-time baker, although I think those shows are also funny. And I also think Christmas cookies is something we can all sort of connect with, because I feel like most of us listening to Good Things have had an experience long before you bought cookies for Santa, making them at home, and then your trees turning out like, big marshmallows, or your candy canes looking like big puffed up J's, and the kids and they taste great and they're wonderful memories. And I still think that there's a spot for that in families. But it feels like over the last, 5 to 10 years, Beth, cookies have kind of elevated in people's expectations. When did you start to get the idea that maybe being a cookier could be a thing, or was a thing? When did that first get on your radar?
My daughter Jessica,
the one who makes the cookie cutters.
Yeah.
Was she making cookie cutters before she got mom to be a cookier, or did that come after?
After.
Oh, after. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, her little brother, my son, bought the first 3D printer, and they were messing around with it, and she was actually making cookies. And so they were like, well, let's make a cookie cutter. And they did.
And it's amazing what folks want a cookie cutter made into or made
Yes.
from. And so, I could see where that would be.
And she's artistic as well. So she has all of her designs are hand-drawn. She has over 3,000 designs of cookie cutters. And I have most of all of them in different sizes. So it works out well for me.
It does. Okay, so the artistic, then it has to be a gene. Who passed down the artistic gene to Beth and then to Jessica?
That's a good question, because it's not my mom. Bless her heart. Shanae cannot draw a stick person. But, and her name's not really Shanae.
I was thinking, you know what? If it is, good for her. I mean, hey. We all have our nicknames.
Yeah, it's Jennifer, but she goes by Shanae. So, it's not, I don't know, honestly, where it came from. I know my grandmother saw something in me young, sent me to a class at Mississippi College with White Waters. And then later in life, I had a mural business. It's just kind of always been in a side thing, it hasn't been the forefront until I met the cookie. And it was just like love at first sight. I loved the cookie.
How did you meet the cookie?
I know. And like I said, it was my daughter Jess. Jessica had started doing cookies, and we had always baked cookies, but not with the royal icing and this
degree.
Correct. And so when it happened, and it was like, fast forward 4.5 years, and I've upped my skill game a little bit, and
I think you have. I think you gotten a little good at the talent, and that talent's not easy. You would think that just taking and piping and doing whatever on these cookies, but they have, and if folks follow you at the Vanillian on Instagram, it's art. Like, it's almost you don't want to eat it because it's too pretty to eat, but I'm sure folks do. When did friends and family start asking you, Beth, for things for like baby showers or graduation or special occasions? Because that's kind of where the cookie world got crazy, was the personalization that you can do with the cookies that you couldn't necessarily do with a cake. Yeah,
they really didn't ask. I was more pushing. I'm like, here, eat these. And then, once you give them to them, then they're hooked. You're like, oh, yeah.
Because the cookie also has to taste good, right?
Yes. Now, I will say that didn't happen for me at first. Like, the cookie was good, but it wasn't good. You know what I mean? So not only have I perfected the art side of it, but the cookie itself is delicious.
Can you give us a tip why maybe our cookies don't taste as good? Is there like a secret?
I bake them with love, Rebecca.
So you're just not full of any secret giving things today, huh?
They are baked with love.
And baking is pretty much a science. So it feels like if your oven's not hot enough or not right, or all the things with cookies, it can go south quick.
Well, see, everybody always says that. Oh, baking's a science. I like to cook that. Well, I mean, I don't know if I do. I do the same thing, but it doesn't have to be a science with me. So sometimes it's this way, sometimes it's not. Weather has a lot to do with it also. We're in a very humid climate. So I have to do things a little different than some other cookiers that are in Oregon, or, you know what I mean?
What's something you have to do different?
A dehumidifier.
Really?
Yes.
Like in your kitchen?
Yes, in the home. Yes, absolutely. And then, I have a dehydrator that, because you can get craters in your icing. And I mean, there's a lot of cookie problems that could go wrong. But you just have to have it, just right and ebb and flow.
What was your first order that you were able to sell from the Vanillian?
Rebecca, I can't remember what I did yesterday, much less.
Okay, what's your most popular request?
Baby showers.
Yeah.
I do a lot of baby showers. But then I do a lot of like centerpieces. So like if somebody wants like if they're having a party and they want like a big centerpiece, or they want, something like a big Santa. I've done a big like 16 by 24 picture of the Alice in Wonderland, just whatever they want as a centerpiece for the table.
And that's all one cookie?
Yes.
Or no, do you make the centerpiece out of cookies? Like when all the cookies come together, do they make Santa, or is it one big cookie?
It's one big cookie.
That's a big cookie.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of like, how you can take the cupcakes and then you stack them together and
Yeah.
you make the different like shapes or whatever, and then you take all the cupcakes away and then it goes away.
No.
You're just talking about one big cookie.
That's right.
So when did you decide like this is like really going to be a business that started taking off, and then you recognized, hey, I'm pretty good at this in this community? Like I mean, because there's a lot of cookie artists or cookiers out there, but
There are so many talented cookiers. It is unreal. And they're all over. Like, I mean, I have cookie friends worldwide. Germany, Spain, Australia. I do a lot I'm an affiliate with a company called Sweet Sticks out of Australia. And, I mean, some of their products that they make are some of my favorite. They're metallics. And it's endless. It's endless.
So what would be the Vanillian style? What sets you apart from your friends internationally?
Girl, I like this product called Super Shine, and it makes everything shiny. And I tell people if I could get Captain Cookie to stand still long enough, he'd be shiny. He's my husband, who is a fireman, who I've named Captain Cookie. Sorry.
No.
And I put it on everything. I love it. I guess so. My cookies are shiny.
Yeah, they kind of have like a little bit more of a texture, sort of
Yeah.
whatever to it.
Yeah.
What's the furthest place that you have sold cookies to?
Well, being a Mississippi cottage food law, I'm not allowed to ship cookies, so I don't ship cookies anywhere. But I've taken them to the sugar show at CookieCon, or what I mean, depending on wherever that was, Dallas or Reno or.
Does the cottage law, I guess prevents some of that, or because there feels like there's a lot of cookiers, so you can sell out of your home for a limited amount. But
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't ship, which I mean, I get it.
You get it. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hey, there may be a lawmaker listening. We need to unleash the cookiers
Thank you,
in Mississippi. If we can start getting wine shipped, we can get some cookie shipped
That's right. That's right.
and that way. But there does feel like there's one, and maybe not. Maybe you keep it where it can be a local thing where you can help support the cookier in your town, because I know that there are a lot of very talented individuals, particularly women. Are there men cookiers out there?
Yes, there are.
Not that there can't be. It just feels like it lends more to.
Well, there are more. I mean, it is 90% women, but there's a good. I mean, we've got a lot of men in the business now that weren't there, a couple of years ago. But it's coming around.
It's coming around.
It's coming around.
Well, your episode is coming around. That's going to be the Christmas Cookie Challenge. It's going to be Sunday, November the 20th. We're going to have to get you back in, Beth, after it airs, when you can spill all of your secrets. But what is a memorable moment or something that you can share with us from your experience on the show?
Just the travel there and back. I mean, just because this was still a lot of COVID, and it was just a lot of COVID tests all the time. And that was, it was all the time.
This was back in this past March?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So that was something positive, though, that came from
Give
it.
me something more, Beth. I had a great time. It was an experience that I so blessed to have, and oh my gosh, would love. who gets to do that, you know? I mean, it was just a good time.
It's going to be a good time. We're all going to watch, and
it was
you
a
have to
good
come back in and
Yeah.
share all about whatever happens next with us. Where can we find you online?
You can find me at the Vanillian on social media, both Facebook and Instagram, or I am thevanillian.com is my
All
website.
righty. Well, I appreciate your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, y'all stick with us.